It's cold. It's not even that cold. It's cold. Hey, it's Larry Herb, Xbox Live's Major Nelson, up here in Edmonton, Canada. It's a little chilly out here, but it's hot inside at BioWare, where we are playing Mass Effect. Let's go take a look. In its typical BioWare style, a very unassuming sign.
Great stuff.
All right, Mass Effect is going to be in stores very soon. I'm here with Casey Hudson, who's the project director. Casey, you've got to be excited about this. This game is finally shipping.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We've been working on it for about 3.5 years now, and we're really happy that it turned out pretty much the way we wanted.
You've actually been working on this title longer than the Xbox 360's been for sale. That's got to be pretty interesting to be working on a title before its launch, then seeing all the great titles that have come out since launch. Then you guys you're the icing on the cake this holiday.
Yeah, and then when you think about the fact that we had to picture what we were working on from way back before any of these games came out, before we could even really get our own technology working, and yet we had to get this huge team working on a huge project, building all of this technology and all this art before we could even really visualize how far we would have to take things.
When you look at Mass Effect, obviously it's huge with story. It's so story driven. How do you go about developing the story, and walk me through a little bit of the creative process for the folks at home about how you do this and come up with this epic tale that's Mass Effect?
Well, I mean, first of all, we wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be something derivative. We wanted people to know what they would love about it, but at the same time, we wanted it to be fresh and new. So we actually we kind of just went back to what we really wanted to create. What do you want as a player? Want to experience in a space adventure? And so we went back to like the most basic ideas of looking at a science fiction painting and looking deep into it and imagining what you'd want to do there and what is it that excites you. And so we literally created a huge list of things that we would want to do, things that players wanted to do, and opportunities we wanted to give people to experience in this science fiction universe that we were creating. And then that kind of created a whole framework for the kinds of stories that we would tell and the kinds of gameplay that we'd be able to provide.
I'm here with Drew, who's the lead writer on Mass Effect. Drew, what a great game. You have authored quite a masterpiece here.
Thanks. That's great. We're very pleased with the initial reaction. Everyone seems to really appreciate the efforts we put into it, and it's very gratifying because we spent 4 years on this game. So,
when someone writes for instance, a movie screenplay, it's about 120 pages or so. How many pages was the script and the dialogue in Mass Effect?
I'll throw some numbers at you. It was about 20,000 lines of dialogue, which is an incredible amount of dialogue. If it was a novel, we're looking at somewhere in the area of about 4 to 5 full novels. It was about 400,000 to 500,000 words.
So this is like the entire Harry Potter series.
Pretty much. A good way. Movie scripts you mentioned is probably the best way to compare it now with the digital actors, and it's equivalent of about 15 movie scripts in sheer content.
And you got to work with some great movie stars in this. Tell us about some of the stars you worked with and how you wrote for them.
Well, we had a few actors that we kind of thought we had characters that would suit them, and we were lucky enough to get them in on the project. For example, Seth Green plays the character of Joker. He's the pilot of the Normandy, the player's ship. And he was, incredible to work with. He fortunately agreed to do it. He, liked the project, liked the character. Brought his own brand of sort of, sarcastic humor to it. Really gave that character an edge and made him very interesting. Keith David is another character that, we like a lot of his work. He's amazing in everything he does. Anyone who knows Keith David from, all his vast number of works. We wanted to bring someone in who just had an air of authority to be Anderson, your mentor throughout the game. And fortunately, again, he was interested in the project. So it really helps us when we kind of know who these actors are, sort of get a voice in your head. You can kind of imagine them saying the words, saying the lines. And as a writer, it really helps you to sort of wrap your head around the character as you want to present them in the game.
All right, a lot about Mass Effect is the story, but the other really exciting part about it is the artwork. I'm here with Derek Watts, who's the art director for Mass Effect. Derek, thanks for coming on the show here.
Hey, no problem.
Let's talk about this for a second. This is such an amazingly visual game. Where did you start with this, and how did you come up with the concepts?
Usually it starts as early as us just getting stuff on paper. Even before the story's written, we have a rough idea it's going to be a science fiction game. We'll start to do production paintings, some ideas we might want for worlds, maybe a snow world, maybe a big city, just trying to suss out what we want to do. And then as the writing gets more laid down and the story starts to get more fleshed out, we'll start to take concepts and really work on those from there.
When you're dealing with the future, how do you decide whether you're going to go with the Blade Runner dirty future or the Jetsons clean and shiny future? How do you decide that?
That was actually a decision we made pretty early. Casey and myself both like the clean look of science fiction movies. We wanted to stay away from some of the dirtier looks. There were some games coming out using the same system and same engine that were going to be a bit more cluttered, a bit more wear and tear on them. So we wanted our game to stand out more, and we found out that there were going to be less games that had this clean, sleek, minimalist look to it almost.
What are some of the concerns that you have to take into account as you're designing this game? We talked about, you kind of said, okay, we're going to come up with clean, but you're really designing everything all the way down to, objects in the world that maybe some players may not even see.
Yeah, we designed everything. Every prop, it all had to be done. Most games do that. Every place will get drawn up at some point or another. We actually had to put in a bit more wear than we wanted to in the game, just to make it a bit more realistic. We got to a point where it was too clean, and materials didn't kind of hold up, so we actually put a bit more scratches and dirt on there, just put a bit more realism in there.
I appreciate your time today, and we're looking forward to Mass Effect. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thanks.
All right, now that the game is done, it's time to have a party.
Woo!